The Johnson family gathered around the long oak dining table, the same one that had been in the family for 3 generations. Sunday dinners were sacred in their household, even though everyone had grown older and life had pulled them in different directions. Amelia, the eldest daughter, sat at the head of the table beside their mother, while her younger siblings, Clara, Michael, and Renee, took their usual spots. The smell of baked chicken, collard greens, and cornbread filled the room. But just as quickly as laughter filled the space, tension began to stir. Clara, the second-born, sighed heavily when Amelia corrected her for the 3rd time that evening. "You are always doing Madame Know-all." Clara snapped, her voice sharp and laced with years of bottled-up frustration. The room went silent. Forks paused mid-air. The words stung, not because they were cruel, but because they revealed a wound the family had long ignored. Clara had always felt overshadowed by Amelia. Amelia was the responsible one, the first to graduate college, the one who their mother leaned on when their father passed away. But Clara had dreams too, dreams that didn't always fit into Amelia's definition of success. Clara was creative, impulsive, and bold. She loved painting murals on abandoned buildings and running community art programs. "Clara, you could have handled that differently," Amelia said quietly. "That's exactly what I mean," Clara shot back. "You always think you know what's best for everyone." Their mother, Evelyn, looked between her daughters, torn between protecting peace and acknowledging the truth. Growing up in the heart of Atlanta, the Johnson children had learned resilience early. Their father, Samuel, had been a hard-working mechanic who taught them the value of persistence. Their mother, Evelyn, worked 2 jobs to ensure her children had opportunities she never had. Amelia, being the oldest, carried the weight of responsibility. She helped with homework, cooked meals, and even worked part-time jobs as a teenager. Clara, on the other hand, was free-spirited, often clashing with Amelia's structured ways. The conflict at dinner wasn't just about that night, it was about years of unresolved tension. Later that evening, Evelyn pulled Clara aside. "Baby, why did you speak to your sister like that?" Clara folded her arms. "Because she doesn't let anyone breathe. Every time I talk, she has a correction. Every time I try something, she has advice. It's like she doesn't see me for who I am." Evelyn sighed. She had always admired Amelia's maturity but worried about Clara's fiery spirit. Both were gifts, but together they created sparks. Amelia sat alone in her room, staring at old photo albums. She remembered braiding Clara's hair for school, walking her to class, even defending her from bullies. Had she been too controlling? Or was it simply that Clara never understood the pressure she felt as the eldest? Her phone buzzed with a message from Clara. "You don't have to run my life." Amelia's chest tightened. The next day, Clara avoided Amelia. She spent most of her time outside painting with her friends. Renee, the youngest, noticed the tension. "Why do you 2 always fight?" she asked. "Because Amelia thinks she's mama number 2, Clara muttered. Michael, their brother, sighed. "You both need to chill. Y'all are too much alike, that's the problem." But deep down, Clara didn't believe they were alike at all. Clara's art program was gaining attention. Local kids looked up to her. The mural she painted told stories of strength, struggle, and survival in Black communities. One evening, her mentor, Mr. Curtis, said, "Don't let family silence your gift. But also don't let pride keep you from love. Family is the backbone." His words lingered in Clara's mind. Meanwhile, Amelia was struggling at her corporate job. She worked long hours as a financial analyst, often covering for her colleagues. Her boss praised her reliability but never recognized her exhaustion. She wanted to tell Clara that being responsible wasn't as glamorous as it looked. But Clara only saw control, not sacrifice. One Saturday afternoon, the siblings gathered again. The air was tense from the start. Clara rolled her eyes as Amelia reminded Michael about paying his bills. There you go again, Clara snapped. Madam Know-all. Amelia stood up, her voice breaking. Do you think I like being the one everyone leans on? Do you think I don't get tired? The room grew silent. For the first time, Clara saw her sister not as a know-it-all, but as someone carrying invisible weight. That night, Clara couldn't sleep. She replayed Amelia's words, realizing that maybe she had misunderstood her sister's intentions. Amelia, too, stared at the ceiling, wondering how to balance being supportive without suffocating her siblings. For the first time in years, both sisters began to see that their conflict was less about who was right and more about what each of them needed. Evelyn lay awake that night, listening to the quiet hum of the ceiling fan. Her heart ached for her daughters. She loved them equally, but she knew Amelia carried more weight than the others. She also knew Clara's spirit was fragile, often misunderstood. As she prayed, she whispered, "Lord, help my children to see each other with love, not judgment." Clara threw herself deeper into her art program. She spent long hours painting with children in the neighborhood, finding joy in their laughter. But whenever someone asked about her family, her smile faltered. "Yeah, I've got siblings," she would say, brushing off questions before the pain showed. Amelia's co-workers invited her to happy hour, but she declined. She had to pick up groceries for her mother, check Renee's schoolwork, and remind Michael about his car insurance. When she finally sat down in her apartment, she cried. Her phone buzzed, another message from Clara. "Stop bossing me around. I don't need your advice." Amelia didn't reply. Michael, usually quiet and laid back, decided he couldn't keep watching. He invited both sisters to lunch at a small soul food restaurant downtown. "Y'all acting like enemies when you're supposed to be blood," he said, digging into his mac and cheese. "Clara, you feel judged. Amelia, you feel unappreciated. Both of y'all right. Both of y'all wrong." Neither sister spoke, but his words planted seeds. That Sunday, Evelyn dragged everyone to church. The pastor preached about unity and forgiveness within families. Clara shifted uncomfortably in her seat, while Amelia stared at her folded hands. When the choir sang, Evelyn closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. She hoped the message reached her daughters' hearts. After church, Amelia approached Clara. "Listen, I didn't mean to make you feel small. I want the best for you." Clara crossed her arms. "That's the problem. You think you know what's best for me." It wasn't the reconciliation Evelyn prayed for, but it was a start. Renee, the youngest, watched quietly. She admired both her sisters, Amelia's strength and Clara's creativity. One evening she told Evelyn, "I don't want to grow up and fight like them." Evelyn hugged her. "That's why we're going to fix this, baby." A local art gallery noticed Clara's murals and invited her to showcase her work. It was the biggest opportunity of her life. Excited, she ran home to share the news, but when she saw Amelia at the table helping Renee with homework, she hesitated. She didn't want Amelia's approval. She wanted her recognition. When Clara finally announced the news, the family celebrated. Evelyn clapped, Michael whistled, and Renee hugged Clara. Amelia forced a smile, but inside, jealousy pricked her heart. She had worked so hard at her corporate job, yet she never received the same kind of applause. The bitterness surprised her. At dinner, Amelia couldn't hide her feelings. "Congratulations, Clara. Just make sure you're ready for the responsibility. Opportunities like this require discipline." Clara's face hardened. "See, even now, you can't just be happy for me." The table fell silent. The rift deepened. Later that night, Evelyn sat at the kitchen table, head in her hands. "I'm tired of y'all fighting," she whispered. Michael rubbed her back. Renee fetched her a glass of water. The siblings exchanged worried glances. They had pushed their mother too far. Evelyn called her mother, Grandma Louise, for advice. The older woman was wise and sharp-tongued. "Baby," Grandma Louise said, "siblings gone fight. But you remind them that blood is thicker than pride. Pride don't keep you warm at night. Family does." Evelyn nodded, determined to restore peace. The night of Clara's art showcase arrived. The gallery was packed with people admiring her murals. Reporters asked her questions, cameras flashed, and for once Clara felt seen. But as she looked around, she realized Amelia wasn't there. Amelia had stayed late at work, buried in spreadsheets. She told herself she couldn't leave until the project was finished, but deep down she knew she was avoiding Clara's big moment. When she got home and saw photos of the event online, guilt gnawed at her. The next morning, Clara stormed into Amelia's apartment. "You didn't even show up for me." "I would have shown up for you, Amelia." Amelia dropped her head. "I'm sorry. I didn't know how to deal with it." "You always act like you got it all together," Clara snapped. "But you're just scared I'll shine brighter than you." The words cut deep. Evelyn called a family meeting. Everyone sat in the living room, tense and quiet. "Listen to me," Evelyn said firmly. "This family is all we got. I won't live to see my children hate each other. Amelia, stop carrying the world like it's only your job. Clara, stop fighting your sister like she's the enemy." Her voice broke. "I can't lose the both of you to pride." That night, Clara replayed her mother's words. She thought about how Amelia had carried her through childhood, how she had fought for her in school and comforted her during heartbreaks. Maybe Amelia wasn't trying to control her. Maybe she was trying to protect her the only way she knew how. Amelia, too, reflected. She finally admitted to herself that she was exhausted from always being the strong one. She cried in the shower, letting years of suppressed emotions pour out. She whispered to herself, "I don't have to know it all." The next day, Clara brought a canvas to Amelia's apartment. On it, she painted two women, one holding the world, the other holding a flame. "This is us," Clara said softly. "You carry the weight. I bring the light. We're different, but we need each other." Amelia stared at the painting, tears welling. For the first time in years, the sisters hugged without anger between them. It wasn't perfect, but it was a beginning. Evelyn watched from the doorway, relief flooding her heart. Michael grinned. "Finally," he said. Renee clapped. The Johnson family had a long way to go, but at least now, they were walking together. Clara's art career began to blossom. Her gallery showcase opened new doors, murals on community centers, invitations to speak at schools, and even an offer to collaborate with a nonprofit. She still felt a quiet ache about her relationship with Amelia, but things were improving. Their truce held, though fragile. Amelia surprised everyone when she took a week off work for the first time in years. She told her boss she needed space to breathe. During that week, she visited Clara's murals, spent time with Renee, and even cooked dinner with Evelyn. For the first time, Amelia allowed herself to be present instead of endlessly productive. Clara invited Amelia to help with an upcoming art program for underprivileged teens. At first, Amelia resisted. "I don't know anything about art." "You don't have to," Clara said. "Just be there. The kids need structure, and you're good at that." To her own surprise, Amelia agreed. Working together wasn't easy. Clara hated schedules, while Amelia thrived on them. They clashed over details, but when the program launched, the kids thrived. Amelia realized Clara's creativity sparked hope, while Clara admitted Amelia's structure kept things organized. For the first time, they saw each other's strengths not as competition, but as complement. One evening, Clara's mural was vandalized with hateful graffiti. She was devastated. Amelia rushed to her side. Instead of lecturing, she simply sat with her, offering quiet comfort. "We'll fix it," Amelia whispered. "Together." Clara leaned on her sister's shoulder, grateful. News of the vandalism spread. Instead of letting hate win, Clara organized a repainting day. Families, neighbors, and children gathered with brushes in hand. Amelia helped coordinate supplies while Clara led the design. By the end of the day, the mural shone brighter than before. Their teamwork became a story of resilience. While the sisters were healing, Michael faced his own troubles. He lost his job at the auto shop and started falling behind on bills. Embarrassed, he didn't tell anyone until Amelia noticed. "You don't have to hide, Mike," she said. "We'll figure it out as a family." For once, Amelia didn't lecture. She simply offered support. Clara even painted a "Help Wanted" sign for him to use in his job search. Meanwhile, Renee blossomed at school. Inspired by her siblings, she joined the debate team and started writing poetry. One evening she read her poem aloud at dinner. "Family is a storm and a shelter, a burden and a blessing, a fight and a hug in the same breath." The family applauded, realizing how deeply their struggles had shaped her. Just as peace was returning, Evelyn fainted in the kitchen one morning. Panic swept through the family. At the hospital, the doctor assured them it was exhaustion and high blood pressure, but it was a wake-up call. The siblings realized how much stress they had put on their mother. Together, the siblings took turns caring for Evelyn. Amelia cooked, Clara decorated her room with paintings, Michael ran errands, and Renee read her poetry aloud to lift her spirits. For the first time, each sibling contributed without comparing or competing. One night while Evelyn rested, Amelia finally broke down in front of Clara and Michael. "I always thought I had to be perfect so Mama wouldn't worry. I thought if I carried everything, nobody else would have to struggle. But it broke me inside." Clara held her hand. "You don't have to do it alone anymore." Clara also confessed. "I thought you were trying to control me. But really, you were just scared I'd fall. I see that now. I was so busy proving I wasn't you that I forgot I was your sister first." The sisters hugged, this time with no bitterness lingering. When Evelyn recovered, the siblings threw her a surprise backyard cookout. The smell of ribs and cornbread filled the air as neighbors gathered. Music played, children laughed, and the Johnsons danced together for the first time in years. Evelyn looked at her children and whispered, "This is all I ever wanted." As the sun set, Renee read another poem she wrote for the occasion. "Madam Know-All, Madam Know-None. We argue, we fight, but love's never done. A sister is more than the weight she bears. A family is more than the pride it wears. We rise, we fall, but together we stand, linked by heart, by blood, by hand." Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. Even Amelia and Clara laughed through their tears. Weeks later, as they gathered for Sunday dinner, Clara playfully nudged Amelia. "Remember when I called you Madam Know-All?" Amelia smiled. "I remember. But I think now we both know we don't have to know it all. We just have to love each other through it all." The table erupted with laughter, food was passed around, and for the first time in a long time, peace sat with the Johnson family. The story of Madam Know-All was no longer about conflict. It was about growth, forgiveness, and the unbreakable bond of family.